This is part 2 of our setup of the graphical layout for our calculator. So let's get into it. Okay, so continuing on from video 1. So if you haven't looked at video 1, make sure you go back and watch that first. Okay, so at this stage, we're ready to add some buttons. We've got the facility to enter 2 numbers, but we haven't got any way to take an action, so to add an operator. So we want to do that next. And what we want to do is we want to add some buttons going across the screen from left to right. So one way to do that is to add what's called a table row, and that will automatically format whatever's in there going left to right. So we want to do that. We're just going to go over here to layouts, click on table row and drag that over and release it. You can see automatically it's set that up for us. And what we should probably do first is double click into it and change the background color. And let's just make it all white, just so it's a bit easier to see. So I've double clicked it, as you can see, and you probably know this now. Type in back for background, press enter. Now we could go to the website to figure out what white is. The website I showed you in video 1, but I happen to know it's FFFFFF. So we've now set an individual element on our screen to white. As you can see, we've changed the color, and it is possible to do that with virtually any element. You can change the colors much as you see me do there. Okay, so we're going to add 4 buttons to this section now and have them fit left to right. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back up to Form Widgets. I'm going to select our button as so, and I'm going to drag it into there and then release it. Now you can see straight away when I've done that, it's added the button. We want to double click into it. Now we want to add some text to it, because by default we don't want it to say button. We want the text to say, or to have whatever the type of operation is, plus. And again, if we go back, you can see it's now changed to plus. I'm going to do the same button. You can see a lot of the standard formatting is being done automatically by Eclipse for us. Again, same deal, double click it. That could be a minus. And again, I can go back, add another one. Double click. Let's make that the divide. And the last one, just wanted to show you another alternative way of doing it. We can select it. I'm copying that relevant section. I'm copying it, and if I paste it, then I just make a little change here, and you can see button 1, button 2, button 3. So no surprises. The next one should be button 4. And we will need that in the next video when we start retrieving the values and using these buttons, but we'll get onto that shortly, or in the next video. And I'm going to change the text to multiplication. I'm going to save that because I haven't saved for a while. File, save. So now if we go back to our layout, we can see we've now got our 4 buttons, so that's good. And this, just incidentally, this little error that's coming up here, so you might be wondering what this error is. And Eclipse is giving us a suggestion and saying these buttons should be borderless. Now we don't actually want to do that, but what I want to do is just show you, because it's sort of said how to fix it, how it thinks you need to fix it. So we can go over here and we can just move our mouse over and we can copy it. I can go over there if I can select it. Let's wait till it comes up again. Okay, I've opened it like that, and I can just select that and copy it, and I can go to our first button and paste it in there. And you'll notice when I do that, save it, the error goes away. But if we go back and have a look, it's not really quite right. We don't want it to be borderless, because we want that to be obvious that that's a button that is clickable. So I'm going to leave it and ignore Eclipse's suggestions. But it does pay often to check some of these suggestions out, and sometimes they do make a lot of sense. Now that's that one warning, and this other warning here from Eclipse, it's saying that we shouldn't be hard coding strings. We should be using the string resource file. And if you remember, that's this file, values strings. We've talked about this file before, and it's saying that we should be putting all our setups in there. And it does make complete sense to normally do that, but we're not going to do that for this one. So we're really going to sort of just ignore Eclipse's advice and leave that as it is. All right, so we'll go back to full screen again, and we'll look at our layout. So next thing we need to look at is, it's all very well to have those buttons there, but they're not really centered. So what we want to do is center those buttons. And again, quite simple if you think about it. We want to click on the layout, the actual table row itself, not the individual buttons. because we want to tell the table row to center everything that's in there. So to do that, I've selected that, as you can see, and I can double click it. And again, you can see that's now selected the whole area. And that's another good thing there, that's showing you that this table row, this is what it's comprised of, and it's showing you that the 4 buttons are, part of that essentially. So what we want to do is go up to the first start for the table row, and we want to center it. And again, if you recall, centering was using the word gravity, GRAV, control, space, center, and we want to do the next one. We want to do both gravities as I explained in the previous video. Android gravity equals center. Save that and then go back to the layout, and we've now got the button centered. So one other thing we could do is, why don't we add a margin to the left and right of this layout so that it doesn't sort of look out of place. Basically so there's a bit of space between there. I don't ever like to see fields sort of centered or pushed right up against the border. It just doesn't look too good. So we can easily do that as well by adding a margin. So we can double click into it again, go to the first section here, and we can type in margin left, and let's just say 5 display pixels, density pixels. I keep saying display pixels, and you can see what we've done there already. That's moved that back a little bit. It's introduced a little bit of a space there, which makes it look better. And likewise, why don't we do the same for the right side? Again, marg, control space, margin right, and we'll make that 5 density pixels as well. Save that. We've now got the makings of a basic app, but it is starting to work. All right, so we've got that centered, and what we need now, if you think about it, is we've got the ability to enter the numbers we want to calculate. We've got the operator. We've got the instruction, so we know whether we want to multiply, divide, or whatever the case is, but we haven't got anywhere to show the results yet. So let's put in a couple more fields. Let's go with some medium text. I'm going up to 4 widgets, and I'm going to drag medium, double click it, and we'll put in the result. That's just a heading to tell us what the result of the operation is going to be. Again, going back here again, and then we need another field that's going to tell us the result. And why don't we put that in a big font using the large text. And I'm just going to make the default for that one 0, or because it's we're dealing with decimal fields, I'm just going to make it 0.00. I can go back and have a look. So, and then lastly, as you can see, I've opened it up, and I'm just going to go to there, and let's center that as well. Center it, so it's going to be, you bet, gravity, center. I'm going to copy it and do it here quicker. Again, it'll be really your own personal preference as to which way you'll use it. I tend to do a lot of work in this environment, and that's just my personal preference. I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to go down to the next field as well and paste that in there quickly as well, just to save a bit of time, and save that off. Okay, then the only other thing is the result. We probably need a bit of a margin at the top there, or between the buttons. So I'm going to click on that and go into margins, top. Let's put in 20. Okay, so we've got a very basic application, calculator application designed, but obviously it's not going to do anything. So if we save that and run it and exit and then run it, so it's launching in the background. We go to our Android virtual device, but of course we can type in numbers, but we haven't got anything working, and that's because we haven't hooked up any of the functionality. So we'll hook up the source code, or hook up the code to make all this work in the next video.